Up next, we have another insightful panel discussion titled Empowering Future Leaders, Mentorship and Growth in Leadership Development. Joining us for the session are Shri Raveen Bhatnagar, Corporate Strategy and Planning, Human Capital at Kanoria Foundation, Professor Arup Misra, Chairman of Pollution Control Board Assam, Dr. Swapnil Sinha, CEO at BioNEST-IIT Guwahati, Moderator Shri Partha Dasgupta, Senior Fellow at TIDF IIT Guwahati. The panel will explore the critical role of mentorship in shaping the leadership of tomorrow. So please help me in welcoming our panelists to the stage.
Okay. So, this is the panel for, basically we are going to talk about empowerment. When we say empowerment, it's all about empowering the young talents as leaders of tomorrow. So that is the understanding, that's the theme that we are going to talk and discuss. And we have elite members in this panel. On my right is Dr. Sinha, Dr. Swapnil Sinha, Mr. Raveen Bhatnagar, and Arup Misra ji. He is a professor and an established chemical engineer, and he happens to be the chairman as well as for the Pollution Board of Assam. So welcome to this panel. And let me start. What I'm going to do is, the structure is very simple. I'm going to ask my elite panel members what they think what empowerment is all about. Because I've been hearing this word empowerment. I will say that not from my school days, but yet from my college days, more importantly from my corporate days, I'm hearing this word empowerment. You have to empowerment in various spectrum. You hear this word empowerment. So I'm going to ask them one liner from each of my esteemed panelists. So what do you mean by empowerment?
I'll explain you the one liner in terms of organizational sense. So for me, I just kind of a personal answer to it. So I have been heading this organization since 3 years now. Before that, I was delegating some roles from the people who are above me. But I realized that because no organization can be run by just one individual, even if you have a head of institution or a CEO sort of thing. But then again, you need to trust your employees and you need to delegate leaders across the organization so that everything functions very properly and you can propel the entire organization towards progress. So for me, it's more about how can you have those tool set for your employees and for the leaders so that they are empowered to take decisions. They have this confidence that whatever decision they are taking, they don't have to always check with everybody else, are they going to take the right decision. They shouldn't have an inch of doubt, self-doubt. So for me, it is a process. So that for me, that's empowerment, that's how you may call it a delegation of authority also, but for me, it's to equip a person in your organization that he or she is empowered to take the right decision and have a trust. And you should, as a leader, you should have a trust in them that whatever you are delegating the job to them or giving them a tool set, you can believe them, you can trust them that they are going to take the right decision.
Thank you. I think what she has tried to articulate is, you want to empower them through delegation in a structured manner. I think that's what Dr. Sinha has been saying today. And let's hear what my other elite panelists think about. May I request Praveen to...
Very, very true what you mentioned. In fact, I was having similar thoughts what she has expressed. But very simply put, empowerment is nothing but giving freedom
Yeah.
and power for any team or any group or any community to perform to the best of their ability, to their fullest potential. So only if you are able to get that, a delegation, like you said, or a mandate to be able to perform to your best ability and then do the right things at the right time. But one thing I would like to say is, when empowerment is given, it is the degree of empowerment.
Yes.
There are boundaries of discipline. For example, there is a charter of authority. Many companies have a delegation of authority, which is very clearly laid out, right from, let's say, a junior management to the top management. Each one is entitled to operate the empowerment given those guidelines, right? And that is only to ensure responsibility. Number one. Number two, what I would like to mention here is, it is creating an environment. Empowerment is nothing but creating an environment where there are resources, they have the support and the confidence to do the right things at the right time, taking actions within a certain deadline,
Right.
and achieve those results.
Thank you, Raveen.
Thank you.
And I now come to Dr. Misra. Dr. Misra, you have been with the government, I think, almost all your life. Mostly.
Except 4 years. I was in a-
Yeah. People have a different feeling that in government you have little empowerment because everything is process driven. There's a rule book. Is it true? First, fundamentally,
in the macroscopic level, you are true, but in the wherever you work, for example, I spent most part of my life in teaching in R&D, and then I came to an organization which was also autonomous in the government, but autonomous in the sense that they work for renewable energy, like propagation in the state, and Science Technology Council. Right now, also, I am in Pollution Control Board, which is, as per Supreme Court, in the state government, but not exactly. It's a statutory regulatory body. So every place, wherever I've worked till now, in 4 different locations throughout my life, I found that empowerment can be developed. Empowerment can be practiced. See, basically, it's an enabling process. For me, empowerment is an enabling process, and Dr. Sinha spoke about an organization. Mostly he spoke about some companies or rule or something like that in the limit of companies. Empowerment starts from the individual, basically. It starts from the individual. If you can make a person understand, if you can make him feel his self-esteem, he's self-aware, then basically the process starts from there. It's much more than a mere activity. Rather than empowerment is an attitudinal change. I worked in the college. First couple of years, I saw my senior professors used to always pay some money and tell the bearers, from the canteen, you bring XY, tea, coffee, and some snacks. Sir, I changed the whole thing. After I got the secretaryship in the committee, I told the teachers, you pay me $100 each after getting the salary. So all the money I put to 2-3 fellows are there. One Bengali teen fellow was there, Bishwajit, another boy from Barak Valley of Assam, Jamir. I said, Jamir, Bishwajit, you know our tests. You know what we take. This money is yours for the whole month. You will take decision on which day what you will bring from the canteen and what tea and coffee you will serve and what time. Don't ask any second question. By this act, I tell you, sir, they were so happy. They felt so good that we are part of this department. Teachers are giving us some value, some importance. And they made much better tea and snacks and coffee for us after they got this small, power to buy things.
Very interesting point you have brought in. In fact, I was just trying to analyze what you said. That brings us to an interesting angle altogether. So he talked about not only empowerment, he also talked about accountability. So that's a very interesting development, Dr. Misra. So I come to Raveen. What do you think? Do you think that accountability is a byproduct of empowerment, or accountability is not necessary when you are empowering somebody? What is your take on this?
Yeah, so in fact, if you look at accountability, accountability with a sense of, accountability is a sense of responsibility, right? So I am accountable for a certain role that I'm doing, right? In that role, if I am empowered to be able to perform myself to my fullest potential, right, then I know I am motivated, I know I can succeed, I know that I can do things my way which I want to do, and I have been empowered to a certain degree. Now obviously if I cross that degree, then I am misusing the delegation that has been given to me. So therefore I am accountable for my actions, I am accountable for my decisions, so long as those decisions and actions are deliverables in the right direction and there is a sense of accomplishment. For me, there are three things very important to all of you here. In fact, what is important is your dedication, your commitment, and your devotion. If these three elements are there in us, and we are empowered by an organization, whether it is any group or even a community, there is this ability to deliver and to deliver with confidence. I think that is what you also mentioned.
I do agree with what you're saying, and I also see accountability in a very positive sense. कि भाई अगर आप किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में काम कर रहे हैं और अगर आपसे बॉस रोज पूछ रहा है तुमने क्या, वो एक नेगेटिव सेंस हुआ अकाउंटेबिलिटी का. But if you're empowering your employees, that why they are accountable is that it's going to build confidence in them. कि whatever they are doing, they are accountable for their actions, and of course, they, in a way, you are making them responsible. कि अगर responsibility आप rightly you put it, कि if you are giving them responsibility, then obviously they have to be accountable for that.
Correct, absolutely.
So that is, and that's how I think you build a very positive culture in any organization.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Sinha. I think we have more or less understood the various dimensions of empowerment. Let me share with you, I've also tried to check what is the empowerment, and very, very interesting story. I don't know if you ever gone to a very good hotel, and when you check in and you ask some that I want room this side, that side, of course smoking, non-smoking is a no-brainer, but you want a specific room, etc. And in most of the cases you will find that madam, all rooms are booked and pre-booked, and whatever they will say this is the only room that I have. In exceptional cases you will see that the front desk or the reception will say, okay ma'am, hold on, let me see what I can do for you. So from that itself we can understand the culture of the enterprise, that they allow certain amount of empowerment to take care of the customers, because the customer touch point for anybody in coming to a hotel will be the reception desk.
Absolutely.
And Raveen Bhatnagar has been in Oberoi, so he knows it better, because in service sector industry, because it is critical for the customer to get that experience with the first person of that enterprise, be it good, bad, but doesn't matter. It really matters because end of the day, the choices of the customer to whether to go back to the hotel or to the brand or seek any other hotel which actually respects the customer's needs and aspirations. So Raveen, any reflection on this?
Yeah, sure. In fact, I was very eager to take over from you. I was with Oberoi Hotels for 8 years. So let me just give you a few instances. This was from 94 till 2002, very early, right? But Oberoi Hotels are known for best training across the world. In fact, in India, they are the #1 hospitality chain. And this chain has grown to around about 80 hotels dotted across the world today, as I'm talking to you. And Mr. P.R.S. Oberoi, who is now no more, and his father Mohan Singh Oberoi, who started this entire Oberoi group, Hats off to him. Both of them lived till 104 and the son lived till 100.
Okay.
99 actually, just missed the 100 mark. I'll give you one instance on empowerment. In the Oberoi hotels, now even in fact most of the other hotels started to replicate the promising practices from the Oberois. Let me give you one instance. There was a time when the housekeeping would do only the housekeeping work, or the engineering would only do the engineering work. So what happened, whenever there was a guest in the room and there was a bulb that had fused, right? He would tell the housekeeping assistant who was cleaning the room, can you please tell engineering to come and replace the bulb, right? Then it would take a lot of time for that to happen. The guest would have to wait in the room. The housekeeping assistant would try and make a call from the extension phone that he would have, and very time consuming process. You know what we did? We said, how much time, at home also, we are not engineers, right? Why do we need an engineering department to come and change a bulb? So and most of the housekeeping assistants are women, So for them, changing a bulb meant danger, we can get electrocuted, we can get a shock. And we trained them. We empowered them to take a decision on the spot. And later on through training, they started keeping in their trolley, the housekeeping trolley, various types of bulbs which are used in the room. And immediately whenever there would be a bulb fused, they would replace it instantly. You see the kind of impact it has on customer experience.
Right.
And empowerment is all about creating, like you rightly said, touch points, customer touch points, customer experiences. Another example I'll give you. Suppose you go to a restaurant, in any hotel, not only Oberoi's, any hotel, any 5-star hotel, for example, today Taj, or whether it's Meridian. But actually, essentially, I would say Oberoi's are a little more empowered on this. Suppose there is some problem with the food, right? And you complain. The moment you complain to the steward who is serving you, you know what happens? The steward does not even react with a single word. He simply picks up your dish, takes it back to the kitchen, and has it replaced. And then after the customer is leaving or the guest is leaving, you know what he tells the guest with a smile? He says, you need not pay for it, sir. The entire bill is on the house. Now this empowerment, the empowerment even on financial matters by a steward to be taken is something really, really, in Oberoi that started many, many years back, and that is how the goodwill is achieved. So when you talk about customer goodwill, we talk about brand, we talk about the essence of hospitality, the personal care and attention that you normally get in hotels is all through empowerment. It's all through.
I think you brought in, Raveen, a very new angle to empowerment. You talked two things. One is empowerment. You talked about training and development. And you also talked about multitasking. Right,
Yes.
the three things I do
Absolutely.
pick up.
Absolutely.
So now, when you mix all these three things, definitely there has to be a element of culture in the enterprise. One is a need, of course, that you found out, and the other one is the enabling culture and ability to influence the employees to accept this change, because it's managing a change. So therefore, we need to also understand that empowerment also doesn't mean doing the same thing continuously. It also means there could be a horizontal job load, there could be vertical job load, it could be a mix of both. So we need to be very, very clear about it. That's our experience, that's my experience. Now, as a moderator, let me also articulate. If you ask me what is empowerment, I have got many dimensions, but one of the dimensions that I found to be very impacting and effective is allowing risk-taking. Are you enabling a culture of risk-taking? That is something you really need to think about, and as students, and we are going to get into an enterprise, I think this type of enabling culture will be more critical, and what for your satisfaction in the corporate world. Now coming back to what Venki said, because I've known Venki for about 2 decades now. So we have done some projects across overseas also together. But what he said was the happiness part of it. Very interesting, and they allow a lot of space. That is something which is fundamentally an enabling culture. He talked about the culture of the enterprise, which has a far-reaching positive impact in the output and longevity of the enterprises, both for the individual as well as for the enterprises. Now I request Dr. Misra, have you gone through a similar experience on as a leader? Have you brought in this type of changes? Because it will be an important case study for all of us to hear from you.
Sure, thank you. Yes, positive, definitely in an academic institution, you are bound to come across such situations. It's always there. When we hire new people for teaching, you can't expect in one day they will be very effective in the classroom, or they will be delivering the goods what we expect from them, services we expect from them. So therefore, there's a continuous, nowadays there are some very well-defined processes going on in the universities, IITs, colleges, etc. under All India Council of Technical Education, because we all come under AICT. 9 technical disciplines in the country, they come under AICT, not under UGC. UGC is for general studies. So we have a set of programs where, starting from your soft skill development to hard skill development in different branches of engineering, technology, applied science, we have to undergo these type of courses. And these are really very, very helpful. In my personal example, if you take, I was very fortunate that when I joined the college at that time, throughout the country, entrepreneurship development for technical students, engineering students was just coming in. So mostly like an organization called NISBAD in Okhla, New Delhi, and Entrepreneurship Development Institute in EDI in Ahmedabad, they were taking the leadership. So one group from EDI, they came to Guwahati and they called all the northeastern people, Silchar, it was not NIT, REC at the time, our Assam Engineering College, Guwahati Engineering College, neighboring states, engineering technical institutions, they came. Where first time we realized in our life, after joining the college as lecturers, nowadays they call assistant professor, we realized that soft skill is equally important. Risk-taking ability, how to cope up with stress, how to set your goal through some games and sports, micro lab, how to help each other, how to work as a team. Because Dr. Kalam, who was also my guru in science communication when I worked in New Delhi, he was not the President of India at the time, he was Defense Minister, Salahkar, advisor. He always used to say, individually we Indians are very good in our work. We are brilliant scientists, engineers, technocrats. But as a team, we fail many times because personal problems, egos, they come in the way. And this type of breaking the barrier, looking beyond yourself, as a young professional, whether you are in teaching or research or whatever, all IIT graduates will not go for teaching, neither they will go abroad to America. They will serve our PSUs, they will serve our different companies, MNCs, etc. also. So I think irrespective of where they work and what they work, this type of feeling, realizing one's potential, looking at the future, working in a team, breaking the initial barriers, and developing the soft skill of communication, because communication at times is a very problematic issue. People always who come from North India, South India, they tell us in Northeast India, here, because I'm a Northeasterner, I'm born and brought up in Guwahati. I can tell you, at times, in the campus interviews, I was 10 years Northeast India's longest serving technical placement officer, till date. I was 10 years in Assam Engineering College, looking after entire colleges in Assam, and mostly the company says, sir, this boy has done so good in the written test. In the Viva Bosi, he didn't open his mouth. Why? in a personal interview. Then I asked that boy outside, what happened to you? I know half the answer, baki half I don't want, they will laugh at me. So this sense of rejection, being laughed at, humiliation, this is one thing which sometimes come on the way.
As an impediment.
Empowerment, like the gentleman in the Sinha told us, that it brings about trainings, it brings about capacity, like it increases the capacity, etc. For me, it's also these soft skills which basically is there. The fear of rejection is there.
I think that develops with, once you grow along an organization or you grow along your career.
But we have
So,
to now,
yeah, it's
as
a very
country,
important point that you
a country
raised.
for 101.4 billion people, you tell me that we talk about empowerment in such forum platform.
We don't generally.
No,
Please,
we have to that somehow bring about this type of changes, systemic changes. System itself is the barrier. In many places of India which I have traveled, I'll not go to any narration right now, neither I will mention the places, but I have seen even your systems, the established systems, the element of racism, the element of your patriarchy, etc., also come in the way of developing empowerment. And absolute empowerment is very dangerous.
I would like to just mention that.
Yeah, I think you brought in, Dr. Misra, thank you. You brought in another dimension, but that to what extent and what degree we can empower.
Yes.
I think it is very important,
Degree of
and these days with so much of informations, when you see and Google it, we get a lot of informations. But does that bring maturity in us? Because skill, knowledge is one thing, and execution and what you are going to do with that knowledge is totally a different aspect altogether. Are you competent or to decide as to when to use this information, how to use this information, and what will be the impact of my actions if I do it now, if I do it later? I think that is one other big angle which got reflected from your articulations. Now I come back to Dr. Sinha. You are a leading light in the entrepreneur journey. Now you are a CEO on your own rights. Now, have you ever been in life been empowered, or is it the other way around? You grabbed the opportunity. Now your reflections on this.
So I always worked in an academic situation since when I finished my studies. So I was doing my PhD. At that point of time, I worked in a premier laboratory, CDRI Lucknow. And like you said, at that point of time, I was empowered by my supervisor. And so to put it in a very simple manner, I would say that I have been lucky throughout till I was studying, till my postdocs. And I was doing job in almost 3 countries. I had very good bosses, when I was doing my postdoc, when I was doing my PhD. They did empower me in a sense that it's very simple thing what they did. They believed what I was doing. They were delegating the entire authority of, no, I was doing experiments. I was in biotechnology. So this is what I'm doing right now. It's a, it's a 360-degree turn what I'm doing right now. But what I felt is that, and you don't even realize that if you, the time when you are studying, the time when you are, say, doing a PhD or doing a postdoc, that is a very, very important part of your life in getting a confidence in what you will be doing in the next 5 or 10 years. So when I see myself now, I really connect the dots, because I had excellent mentors who in their own subtle way, and I believe me, at that point of time when I was, say, doing my research in Canada and I was doing my research in, USA, Colorado State University, मैं अपने bosses को गाली भी देती थी. I was thinking, what are they doing? Why are they asking me to do this thing on my own? I had these questions, ki why I have been picked from the lab to do this job, right? But then when I come now and right now I'm heading an institution, I realize that, you just, when you go back and you connect the dots, so it's kind of a process, it's kind of learning process. And in a way, when आप जब किसी भी organization में young होते हो, what you, Venki ji was telling before this panel discussion, that when you enter an organization, आप उसके top पास पे नहीं जाते हो, you enter in a very, say internship में आप जाओगे या फिर in certain positions which are below, let's say the CEO position, right? So it's a learning curve, right? So उस समय आपको समझ नहीं आएगा कि that you are actually getting empowered in bad sense, good sense. Sometimes the work culture toxicity also empowers you. I would say that does that sometimes. So it's a process, and the thing what I'm doing right now, abhi daily I have students walking in my office. कल भी आए थे कुछ students मेरे office में, and they were saying कि मुझे startup करना है. That's a question I get once a week. कोई भी B.Tech का बच्चा आता है, M.Tech के students आते हैं, they come walk in my office, बोलते हैं कि हमें startup करना है. तो I ask them one question, मैं उनकी बात सुनती हूँ. Yesterday it happened, 3 students came to my office. They were B.Tech third year students, if I am not wrong. So they were asking me this question कि मैम मुझे स्टार्टअप करना है, आप बताइए आप कैसे करना है. तो मैं उनसे एक ही सवाल पूछती हूँ कि तुम्हारा लाइफ का विजन क्या है, ठीक है. तो उसमें एक बोला कि भाई मुझे तो रिसर्च करना है, एक ने बोला कि मुझे ये करना है, मैं तो M.Tech करना चाहता हूँ. तो मैंने कहा मेरे ऑफिस में क्या कर रहे हो. In this my office, I will tell you, I will empower you how to be your own boss and open a startup at a very young age, right? But if you have a vision that if you don't want to do this, if you want to go in a research, or say if you want to go pursue your M.Tech degree, so this is not the right place, this is not the right office, this is not the right door you are knocking, right? So in a way, since aap log young ho, so this is a very right age for you. You won't even realize that you are getting empowered for everything around. Sometimes positive impact se, sometimes toxic environment se bhi aap hoge. And you will realize that once you come at my age, that you will understand that, if you connect the dots, you will understand that all through your career life, you are getting empowered in one way or the other, which is actually making you take decisions. आपकी decision making powers बहुत strong होंगी. And also आपकी trust value जो होती है, आपके जो आपके नीचे काम कर रहे हैं, उनकी trust value. So that's how what Arup जी was saying, which Dr. Misra was saying, that ये एक ना personal होता है, ये एक psychological है, how you are getting trained all together. It's a graph, right? It's an upward graph. It's up to you how you make that graph. It is upward or you just make it a hyperbolic, just आप एक flat line पे आ जाते हो.
Okay, interesting. Now I was just wondering, I was going back in time about some of interesting times regarding empowerment, which I'm going to share later on, maybe in 5-7 minutes time. But I'm going to go back to Dr. Misra. Now, have you ever seen or experienced any empowerment or anything a person has done in good faith but was beyond the rules and policies of the company? And if so, how could you handle that situation, because the person had done in a good faith?
Well, Mr. Dasgupta, I have not worked in a company so far, but yes, if you can say that in the organization, sometimes it boomerangs. It does boomerang. You try to empower a group of people. In that group of people, again, there will be some sort of tussle, and someone tries to use the empowerment in a different fashion. So, even after empowerment, giving them some sort of autonomy to work, giving some basic training, giving some motivation. Of course, motivation is a word which I don't believe that it can be given by somebody else to somebody. There's a lot of debate on this. Many of my friends do not believe. They say motivational speaker is a right word. I said no, inspirational speaker. Motivation is something else. Even if you are sick and you are damn thirsty, glass of water is there far away on the table. Nobody is there to call. You will somehow crawl from the bed and go and drink the water because you are thirsty. That is a motivation to do something on your own. Whatever we say that Dr. Kalam's life is motivation, it's not it's inspiration. Buddha Dev is inspiration, Ramakrishna is inspiration, Swami Vivekananda is inspiration, not motivation. So in this context, whatever you asked me, yes, I found certain things which were done in the wrong way, in the wrong fashion. I was one of the senior fellows working in the Ministry of Science and Technology in New Delhi. At that time, we were about 10 fellows working. India had just, before I joined on 2nd of May, and the same year, 11th May and 13th May, Pokhran 1 and Pokhran 2 took place. Test. Immediately our boss called us and said that you are given freedom to compile all the technical data about the 5. There were 2 plus 3, 5 total bombs, hydrogen bomb, etc., etc. They went on these 2 days. And India was in the news, and a lot of international dirty debate going on, blaming India for this hostility. And our job as the Ministry of Science and Technology was to defend India's stance, defend Dr. Kalam and his team. In that process, some of our young scientists, they went overboard and they started writing, giving email replies which were not in the right way done. So sometimes I find, this is a small example I'm citing, it came offhand to my mind. In certain cases, you sometimes find that you like overplay the whole situation and you'll end up into some trouble, or it was not your desired goal. See, sir, empowerment doesn't mean that you try to trespass into others' territories, or you try to defame the organization where you work, or the society, or the community where you stay.
I think what you are trying to imply is that empowerment is good, empowerment should be encouraged, but however at the same time one needs to realize that to what extent I can empower depends on the maturity of the person that will be empowered. Right, I think that is something very critical
Absolutely,
and important, and that also brings us to a very important point as to when before you empower people, you really need to put them through a process of how do you conduct yourself, what are the no-go area, what are the firewalls. So I think those are the very important things. When students, when you go and work in the enterprise, you will have to go through this. They will look at you, they will judge you, they will train you, and this is something that will be a process in any enterprise that you work. And if you are looking for further empowerment in life, that is very critical and important. Thank you, Dr. Misra. I think you reflected a very important point. Raveen, I come back to you. Would you like to share something which is very unique, and because we are now the fag end of this panel, so anything that you think is very interesting that you would like to share?
I would like to share, all of you here, I would like to give a small blueprint to success for all the young minds sitting here and young minds on fire. When I say that, it's not very easy, it's very difficult to reach to the level of joining an IIT. It's world's one of the most premier institutes. It's not so easy to come here and be in this auditorium today. So hats off to all of you. My only little blueprint to success for each one of you is, today when you go back after this session is over and after today's day is over, just try and write down 25 to 30 dreams that you have, right? 20, 30, 40, 50, keep writing your dreams. Prioritize top 5 dreams that you think are relevant to you, and then try and create a vision around those dreams, because it is for you. What I'm trying to tell you is what is important to you. You are like my sons and daughters sitting here. I have a daughter who is 18 years old. She's in Bangalore studying her graduation. So basically, when you visualize, when you put a vision and a deadline to a dream, it becomes a vision. If you do not put a deadline to a dream, it's not a vision. So when you visualize, you actually actualize it, right? You live that dream. So I think it's important, and what, sir, you rightly said, Harvard Business School did a small research where they said technical and functional skills are only 15% to success. 85% are soft skills, and that blueprint to success is most important. So I'll give you a small anecdote here. All of you are fond of chips or wafers? Yes or no? Yes or no? Great. Just open a packet of a wafer, a Lay's or whatever is your favorite brand. Take out a wafer from there and immediately have it. What does it feel like? What does it feel like? Loud. Anyone?
The chips is in the
Crunchy.
mouth.
Is it crunchy? Is it crispy? Right? Don't you love that? That is why you love chips, the wafers, right? Now you keep that wafer on a plate for about 2-3 hours. And then pick that wafer up and eat it. Do you still love that wafer? What's happened to it? It's become soggy. Okay? It's become soft. And you will immediately throw it from your mouth. So my dear friends, what is important in life today? Just remember this small little thing I'm sharing with you guys. Be crisp in life. Be crunchy in life. Be happy in life. Okay? And if I just expand crisp, it is nothing but just remember these 5 points. Maybe you can write it down. C stands for customer focus. Always remain customer centric. In any organization you go, any business you do, whether it is a startup, your customer is most important. I think in the previous keynote address also, the customer was in the center. So customer centricity is very important. That is the first C. What is R in the CRISP? What is R? Result orientation, responsibility for results. Okay? Always remember, whatever you do, it must have a deliverable. It must have a result. So when you appear for an examination, you get a result, right? So always remember R is result orientation. What is I? Quickly. I is what we are talking about in this session. Anyone, any guesses what is I? Loud.
Still guessing.
Any wild guess? Anyone?
Here Google is not working, so they. Here Google is not working. They might be searching on a cell phone.
Initiative. Initiative. But any initiative is good? No, unless it comes with speed. Because if you do not take your initiative with speed, and that is empowerment, somebody else will steal that idea. Somebody else will take that initiative away from you. So you have to be very, very fast. So initiative with speed. What is S? No guesses, yeah, come on, it's a game we are playing. S kya hai?
Strategy.
No, if you're talking about soft skills, strategy is a military word. Okay, S is self-confidence. So when you are empowering yourself, if you do not have self-confidence as a quality in you, if you do not have self-confidence as a trait, then it is very difficult. Even if I empower you to do anything, you will be very, very weak in doing that. Okay? What is P? P is very simple. What is P? Ah, fantastic. I wish I had a goodie I would have given you.
Okay,
some goodies are
okay,
behind.
anything else? Because
Passion will not come alone. Passion with achievement. Passion for achievement. You cannot have passion alone, all right? Passion for achievement. So remember, CRISP is defined as qualities, and call yourself a CRISPite. You will never fail in life, let me tell you.
Thank you, Raveen. What you gave me an idea, and I'm going to use it to our advantage. Now, before we go in for the Q&A session, one parting reflection. It should be short and crisp.
Yeah, no, they should. My parting, whatever lines that you want me to say is basically extension of what Raveen ji said. So I have a quote in my office that it's a quote from, I think most of you will know, that if you have a courage to follow your heart and intuition, they somehow know what you want to become. Can anyone tell whose quote is this? It's the Steve Jobs quote, right? And that's a quote that's in my office. Well, I've printed it in a very whole wall is there. So, and I agree completely with what Raveen ji said. So, you guys are young, full of energy, full of hormones also. So, just because it's like I said, what in the beginning I said, it's a process. So, have that courage. And just an extension of what Venki ji was saying before this panel discussion, the happiness quotient. You can never be happy in any organization if you don't love your work. So choose whatever you are going to do very, very meticulously. Don't always look at the paycheck. You need to be satisfied, you need to be happy what you're doing, even if it is paying low in the beginning, doesn't matter, believe me. So it's because if you are in any organization or you end up doing something which you don't like at all, so that will actually drastically, the graph of your performance will drop down, right? So don't do that mistake. And I think that is how I can empower you right now. So I think that's my parting statement.
Yes, we come to Dr. Misra.
I've spoken already.
No, I want you a parting reflection, because end of the day, the amount of experience that you bring in, the amount of the amount of work that you have done in the academic world, I think is enormous. I think, and you come with so much of varied experience, having worked with Dr. Kalam and all. I think the final word is always yours.
Life is tough, but we should be tougher. And don't lose yourself. Yourself, myself, is the most important identity we carry in the world. Like we talk about conservation of biodiversity, I also talk about conservation of different people's habits, their natural instincts. Best friend in my life, who taught me not only mathematics and statistics in school and college, is a person who has made India proud. He is Professor Deepak Jain. We call him the modern management guru after Philip Kotler. He left Guwahati University, where I used to stay at that time, for Dallas, Texas University. A man of mathematics, taking admission for management studies in Texas, in Dallas, and then he was almost laughed at by the professors and fellow students. Only with the basic of mathematics you are coming here for management studies. He said, let me try. I have taught in the department of MBA, but not anything to do with management per se. But I think I have got a knack for marketing management. Deepak not only took admission in the university, completed his course before time with all A grades, but also solved various problems the way which is now recorded in the book which he wrote. I'd just like to share before I leave this place today. Rent in any US university or even other countries also, if you stay downtown near the institution, rent is very high. So he went to stay in a dormitory accommodation far away. Problem was how to commute on time for studies, number one. Number two, with the meager amount of money that he had got, family background was very, very pathetic at that time. 4 sons, 1 daughter, father retired, staying in a place called Tejpur in Assam. From there he went all the way. What to do for his tiffin lunch? So he made a deal with some of the students. Some students in the class, MBA, he called them and said, look, I have found you Americans and Europeans very weak in mathematics. I want to give you, before class and after class in the afternoon, I want to give you some tuitions free of cost, but those who have got vehicles one of you have to pick me up from my home in the morning to the institution, and one has to drop me in the evening. I don't charge you any money, but you have to give me the lift. And whatever tiffin you have, I will have a small morsel of that, bit of that from that, because seriously, I'm short of money when I'm studying here. The way he started his life in USA, it went on and on. In 2001, 2 independent surveys of the world had rated Kellogg School of Management under Northwestern University in Evanston, near Chicago, as the best management institute in the world, where Deepak was the dean at that time. While taking Viva, Philip Kotler told him, talk to your parents in India and stay back here. He says, I do not know. I'm a devout Jain. I don't take even onions, forget about non-veg food. It is tough for me to stay. No, we have got many vegetarians in India. Okay, USA, don't worry, we'll take care of that. You join the institution. In 17 years' time, 9 years, he was the best teacher awardee, and then he came to become the dean, and during his deanship, for 4 years continuously, Harvard, Yale, Chicago, MIT, all management schools were second, third, fourth. This was number one. 2003, I visited Deepak, stayed 4 days with him in that campus. I saw the amount of respect from his teacher, fellow teachers and the students. And it was all made of only self-confidence and not losing the self. In whatever situation he was there, he always thought that I am from a very humble background. My father was a simple worker in the Indian Air Force in Tezpur. I have got to look after my 2 brothers and 1 sister. One is elder, Pramod is in Calcutta. And he never lost himself. I share maximum amount of my life's problems with him the way he does with me. Maybe he is 5-6 years senior to me. This is one example I cite to even school children of Assam when I go to talk about various science communication meetings, etc. I say that if you have a will, sky is the limit. Sky is the limit. Along with your empowerment comes also innovation, comes also serendipity, comes also different types of, strategies in life. He never, after becoming the dean, last half a minute I'll take, sir. After becoming dean, some reporters, Voice of America, CNN, BBC, etc., took his interview. You are the youngest dean in the history of this university. But sir, we have heard you don't know how to drive a car. What will you do? He says, I have consciously married a girl from Rishikesh in India who is a very good driver. So she doesn't work anywhere, she acts my driver. Sir, you don't know also how to start a computer. Switch on a computer, but you can work in a computer. Oh, my 3 children, they're very good. They're very good. Eldest one, now she is about 9 years old. I don't have any problem. Whenever I want to work, I say, Dhwani, please switch on the computer. Not knowing a computer or not being able to drive a car, which even today he doesn't know, doesn't make one hindrance, it doesn't make a hindrance to becoming dean of a management school like Kellogg. Rest is history. Try to Google Deepak Chand Jain from Tezpur, Assam. You will find hundreds of his lectures in YouTube. Very few in the world can beat him. When Philip Kotler was asked, sir, you are the management guru of this world, he says, no, I was the management guru of this world. Today, whatever you see is the Deepak Jain modern management guru. If you go to any departmental store, buy 1, get 1 free, buy 2, get 1 free, buy the first book in full price, second book 50%. All this concept of marketing was started by Deepak Chand Jain. Be proud that he is Assamese. Assamese Jain, born and brought up in Tezpur, studied in Dorong College and then Guwahati University. So, dear friends, sky is the limit. Don't lose yourself. You may imitate somebody for some time, but you cannot succeed. Whatever I am in this garb, in this attitude, in this mentality, if I proceed further, I'll definitely do something in my life. Even I, not only Deepak, I started my life from zero, from minus. From minus I started my life. I never thought I'll become director, I'll become chairman, I'll go to 30 countries, I'll chair many sessions in different places. I never thought about that, but it has happened because I have faith in myself. Thank you.
I think you have summed it up all. I think what the message for you all students is that you need to empower yourself. Don't wait for somebody else to empower you. Before empowering yourself, you really need to decide or realize your own strengths and weaknesses. And most people, most successful people have one thing in common. They leverage their strengths. Here, respected Professor D.K. Jain leveraged his strength and empowered himself, and by doing so, he has not only created a history, but he is a living example of many things that he has contributed, including the more modern marketing techniques which Dr. Misra talked about right now. So these are the inspirations. I'm not saying motivation. You need to be inspired by such people. Thank you, sir, for sharing this story. I never heard of it. Now, let's open up the Q&A session. So we have about 10 minutes for this session, and we'll love to answer to your queries, doubts, questions that you may have. Yes. Yes, Q&A. Yes?
Questions? So, any questions, please, from the left side or the right side or the center? Yes, please. Mike. I see. So we are on video.
Your name?
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, yes.
Your name, question, and any preference of panel member whom you would like to answer to your query.
So, sir, my name is Nasir. Thank you for bringing this topic. My question is actually a general question for the whole audience and our esteemed panel members. So, like when we are talking about the empowerment, I was wondering, so what is the underlying issues within the IIT Guwahati system that has led to an increase in suicide cases, and why are incidents of harassment involving both male and female students being suppressed rather than addressed openly in this system?
I think we are not the right panel to answer this question.
We are talking about the generic issues of empowerment, right?
So I think sir, this is the also thing that like when we talk about empowerment, this can also
these are
okay, thank you.
yeah.
Okay, let me answer this question, please.
Okay.
Which one?
Sure.
His question, okay?
How can you answer this?
Acha, acha. Okay. Oh. Okay. Anyone
Hello.
else? Something
I
relevant
saw a raised
to
hand
this?
from somewhere, I don't know.
Anybody else?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My question is to Raveen, sir. So you talked about empowerment within an organization and empowering organizers even at the lower level
Yeah.
to improve the customer experience. But for employees at the lower level, sometimes most of the organizations are target driven, especially in service sector. So the KPIs of the reporting manager and the goals of the organization
Correct.
are sometimes contrasting, or sometimes situation arise when what the employee at the lower level is going to do will affect his reporting manager. So what should that employee do at that time of time?
Yeah, very
Because
simple. In
You
fact,
cannot go out of the way and talk to the senior at a higher level because it will, there is a risk of
no,
backfire.
so
See, your question is so big, we'll forget the question. So fundamentally, you have asked about the KPI, goal setting.
Yeah.
I understand. You also talked about the segments, the hierarchy, low level, middle level, high level. This also you talked about. So Raveen, can you?
yeah, see, it's very simple. Whenever we talk about individual goals, right? Individual goals are derived from the functional goals. I'm not talking about junior management or senior or middle management or senior management. I'm talking in general. And the functional or the team goals are derived from the organization goals. Okay? So whenever in an organization, in a company, in a corporate, you typically have an annual meet, or an annual operating plan, which is decided in the beginning of the year. And then there is a cascading effect of how the functional goals are arrived and how the individual goals are arrived. So there is an alignment overall of an individual goal to that of the vision of the company. So that alignment is there. Now you said if there is no alignment, what does one do? Very clearly, do not accept goals by simply signing on the dotted line. You have every way, every right to talk to your reporting manager before you accept those goals, to have a debate with them, to have a dialogue with them. Because please understand, the same person who is a reporting manager will also be doing an appraisal at the end of the year or in the middle of the year or whatever the system is, maybe quarterly. So at that time you cannot say, why did you give me this rating, or I could not perform, I could not do this. So right in the beginning itself, clarify it, have the heart to go there and discuss with them and say, boss, I don't accept it. Many a times out of fear we accept it. Many a times my reporting manager, if I accept it, it's out of fear. But get that fear out, because even the reporting manager knows. He says, boss, I cannot change your goals. Why? Because I have been given very stiff goals, right? But that's not important. The goal sheet is always an agreement between the appraiser and the appraisee. It's an agreement. It's not something which is forced upon someone. So please remember that.
Okay, I will add on to this, Raveen, thank you. Fundamentally, you need to understand that if your goals are unrealistic, theoretically, then your contribution based on those goals will jeopardize your boss's goals. Let me put it very, very clearly. Right? So it cannot be, because if you have a bad goal, I am jeopardizing as your boss, my goal, and thereby the functional goal. Remember that. Second part, KRA and goal settings are not for everybody. In a structure, it is at the senior-most level where KPI and goals are being set. For the rest of the people, you have the jobs and roles which are generic roles, like shift in charges, right? So you have scientists, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. They have a set responsibility. Management is a very complex subject. You need to also finally I would like to say that it's a line of sight. When at the lower level, the line of sight is that whatever you do, the product is available or visible in few hours' time. And as you go up at a CXO level, what you are doing today will reflect maybe in a year or 2 or 3. Remember this. So this is an in between, you can understand, you can extrapolate, as that's how it works actually. And finally, the SMART concept is applicable, right? SMART concept is, it has to be specific, stretchable, measurable, realistic, achievable, right, measurable. So these are all things that have to be aligned. If they don't pass this test, that KRA will not be accepted, right? So with this, any further question, please?
I will ask the last question to Professor Misra. So maybe you can just highlight us change in this leadership, being a faculty, being administrator of science and technology, now being administrator of a regulatory body. So how does it work and how did you adapt, so it may be helpful to all of us?
Already I have given you the idea. Whenever I speak, if you read between the lines, you can understand. These are all possible, see. Any engineering college, university teaching, if you are honestly doing your duties, dealing with young minds, students who taught me the most in my life. My students were the best teachers for me, more than any books or anything else. And from them we come to know that human diversity must be respected. So in the organization, when you go there as a leader, don't expect that every person will give you the same output. You have to classify that who is the best in the IT section, who is the best in communication, who is the best in media management. Now, for example, Pollution Control Board, which I had, is 275 regular plus another 75 contractual, JRF, SRF, for research purpose, 350 people organization. Besides the office I sit in Guwahati, which is the head office, we have got 11 offices in the state. We call regional offices. So I know that demands will be different in different places. Silchar, for example, Silchar office, which is the south of Assam, we call in normal term Barak Valley, 3 districts. The totally different topography, totally different geography, totally different mindset of people, you know. Sometimes I go there and find that, you know, people there, they feel that they're not a part of Assam. One class 5 boy in a meeting, he told me, আমাদের নিজের রাজধানী গুয়াহাটি যেতে 2 দিন সময় লাগে, 2 days time we take. How can you call us that we are part of this state? So like that, there are different prevailing views, opinions, ideas in our organization. Every person is different, but first and foremost goal is, what is PCBA for? I'm giving an example. What is Pollution Control Board for in this country? 28 states of India have got pollution control boards under Water Act and Air Act. Why are we there? First and foremost, to safeguard the water, the air, and later on after 1986, waste management, land, all these issues also were incorporated. Basically, this was started after 1972 Stockholm Summit with water and air. So, I have to work under some set rules and regulations. We have our Bibles, all the acts, regulations, rules. After that, you want that organization should also prosper. Why should I be the carbon copy of West Bengal or Kerala or Maharashtra? Why not have a unique identity which also brings out the ethos of Assam with 2,000 tea gardens, with first hydrocarbon in the Asia to be developed here in Digboi in 1889. We should be something different. And then we come to different programs. Different programs, projects, we undertake with that. And in the process, taking people along is the toughest job. Because in India, we have 2 very common things. One is, chalta hai chalne do, main kyun badlu? Why do I change? Senior scientists coming to me, I said, why don't you take the sample in this particular way? No, sir, I have been taking it like this for 20 years. Why should I change now? I said, because there is a change coming. Globally, people are going for different ways of taking samples in a better fashion. नदी का किनारे से, बीच से, 1 मीटर से, 2 मीटर से, 5 मीटर से आप ग्रैब सैंपल लो, उसको जोड़ो साथ में सबको, तब ना आपको मिलेगा एक यूनिफॉर्म एवरेज वैल्यू ऑफ द वाटर क्वालिटी. आप एक ही जगह से पानी लेके आओगे और बोलोगे कि ये पानी गंदा है, खराब है, पीने का लायक है ही नहीं, तो इट इज नॉट डन. सो changing people is very difficult, but as a leader, one has to keep the patience. And very good point was told by Partha ji, that habit of listening. Problem क्या है हम लोग का यहाँ leaders बात करते रहते हैं, followers खाली सुनता है. अच्छा लीडर वही है जो followers का भी सुनता है. Even the followers, when they speak, you should be able to listen to them, give them respect, and then take the best out of that. तो देखिए, मैंने आज तक 3 साल हो गया यहाँ, 5.5 साल रहा साइंस टेक्नोलॉजी रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी 3 डिपार्टमेंट के डायरेक्टर, 24 साल इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज में, 4 साल दिल्ली में जहाँ प्रोफेसर यशपाल एंड प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर एपीजे अब्दुल कलाम वेर माई गुरु इन साइंस कम्युनिकेशन. तो ये चारों जगह में मुझे कभी प्रॉब्लम नहीं हुआ, क्योंकि मैं हमेशा सुबह बोलता हूँ कि लेट द डे गो इन ए पॉजिटिव वे, लेट मी कंट्रीब्यूट समथिंग एंड लेट मी कीप पीपल हैप्पी हु आर वर्किंग विथ मी. हैप्पी का मतलब बस ये नहीं है कि वो जो बोलता है सब सुन लो. इस बार भी एम्प्लॉइज एसोसिएशन आया था दुर्गा पूजा से पहले, मालूम है कितना मांगा था बोनस? 40,000 रुपया पर हेड. 350 आदमी को 40,000 करके देगा तो क्या हमारा रहेगा हाथ में? तो मैंने बोला नो, विल कम टू ए कॉम्प्रोमाइज, आई विल गिव यू बोनस ओनली 10,000 रुपीज पर मंथ. दे आर हैप्पी. They came with the idea कि कुछ भी नहीं मिलेगा, 10,000 तो मिला है ना पूजा का कपड़ा खरीदने के लिए, तो कम से कम they are happy. So you have to work like this. Checks and balances should be there in the organization. Don't dismiss anyone outright. Try to be rational. Try to be humane. And it works. It works like anything, I'm telling you. जिस बंदे का ऊपर मेरा जान है, imagine driving from here via Jatinga and Haflong to Silchar in such roads, that driver, if I don't take care of him, before the cup of tea he should take the tea. Before I take lunch, he should take lunch. How are you feeling now? Are you tired? Can we stop for 5 minutes? Do you need a break? इतना सारा बात करने के बाद उनका फैमिली में क्या है, दोनों बच्चे कैसे हैं, क्या कर रहे हैं, if you talk about all these things, you are a leader. Otherwise, you don't call yourself a leader. Leader is not something which the government or some system makes you jack up and go to there. No. Leaders have to be really leaders and humane to everybody, one and everybody who works with you. Is it okay, boss? ठीक है?
Thank you, my esteemed panelist, Dr. Misra, Raveen, Bhatnagar, Dr. Sinha. I think it was really enjoyable, entertaining, and more importantly, we had some good questions and answer sessions. And I'm sure you have enjoyed the entire panel outcomes. And I think very important and relevant points have been thrown open. And I'm sure you will benefit from the experience of these elite panelists over here. With this, I conclude this session today, and over to the organizer.
Now I would like to call Shri Lalit Pandey sir for felicitating our guest. We have Dr. Swapnil Sinha, CEO of BioNEST-IIT Guwahati. Next up, we have Shri Partha Dasgupta, Senior Fellow at TIDF, IIT Guwahati. Professor Arup Misra, Chairman of Pollution Control Board, Assam. Shri Raveen Bhatnagar, Corporate Strategy and Planning, Human Capital at Kanoria Foundation. Mentorship is the cornerstone of developing future leaders, and today's session highlighted the importance of fostering growth and building strong leadership foundation. Let us give a huge round of applause to our panelists for their valuable insights.